This is the Less Insurance Dependence podcast show with my good friend Gary Takas and myself, Narain Arul Raja.
We appreciate your listenership, your time, and most of all, we appreciate your intention to reduce insurance dependence in your practice. Our goal is to provide information that will help you successfully reduce insurance dependence and convert your practice into a thriving and profitable dental practice that provides you with personal, professional, and financial satisfaction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Less Insurance Dependence podcast, the official podcast of Reducing Insurance Dependence Academy. The website is www.rid.academy. Membership to the Academy is a gift from Gary and I in appreciation for your listenership. Visit rid.academy and do not forget to register. By registering, you will have access to all of our resources and a free pass to all of our events, including our annual summit. I am Narain, your co-host. Today's podcast is titled, How Google Reviews Reduce Your Dependence on PPO Plans. Before we get into Google reviews and how they reduce your dependence, we have a quick announcement to make. And that is, we have a Thriving Dentist live workshop coming up in Austin, Texas. It's on the 1st of Feb, Saturday, 9 to 5, 8 hours of CE. And the link is thrivingdentist.com/Austin. We made it super affordable. So definitely, if you're interested, check it out. Gary, any comments?
I'm super excited about this Thriving Dentist live workshop. It's happening February 1st, Saturday. Austin, Texas, all day, 8 hours. Think of the course as being drinking from a fire hose on all things related to a thriving practice. You're really going to get a lot out of that. You can apply immediately once you return back home from Austin. Come join us. Our last live event that we did will be 5 years ago. It was the end of February 2020. Of course, we had a great event in Atlanta, Georgia at the Porsche Experience Center. We had a full schedule of live events for 2020, and then COVID got in the way. Based on so much comments and feedback we've had from our audience and our listeners, you've asked for a live event, and we're giving you what you asked for. We're excited about it. Come join us in Austin, February 1st, 2025, Thriving Dentist live event. You can register at thrivingdentist.com/Austin. Look forward to seeing you there. I'll be the speaker, 8 hours of amazing content. Look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely. I think this would be an awesome event, and we are bringing it back because many of you wanted us to bring it back. So definitely don't miss it. Thrivingdentist.com/Austin. And let's dive into today's topic, how Google reviews reduce your dependence on PPO plans. Recently, I was talking to our dear friend, Ben Tuene, and he was telling me that he's doing a study at the moment. And what he's finding out, again, it's not complete, so he hasn't published the scores yet, but he thinks less than 10% of practices or patients, new patients, are going to the PPO website, so Delta's website, to find if you are a PPO provider. Instead, what they're doing is they just start searching for what they look for, what they want on Google, and then they find a practice with wonderful reviews and 5 stars, hundreds of reviews, and then call the practice that they like, and then ask the question, hey, by the way, do you take XYZ insurance plan?
Well, let's unpack that, Naren, because we have to look at a little bit of history on this. There was a time that doesn't feel like it was so long ago, but it was a number of years ago, when employers would print a booklet of benefits that were provided by their employment at the company. And in that booklet would be, we provide dental insurance, and they'd list the dentists in the area in print format, that, choose one of these dentists because these are dentists that are in network. Okay, that was a long time ago. And then as time moved on, that became replaced by having them listed on the website. Certainly a wise move for employers, because it was always a fluid relationship between the number of dentists that were in network and those that were not. And it was easier for them to post them on websites. So I remember a time not very long ago when a consumer would go on, say, Delta's website and look for a preferred provider in the network. But that's really changing now. Think about consumers' buying patterns. Where do they go now? Do they go to a company's website or do they go to Google? I think we all said the same thing at the same time. We all go to Google,
Yeah.
right? When you're looking for something, you go to
93% of
Google.
us go to Google, more than anything, any other source.
Yeah.
More than
And now
half.
Ben, I'll love to see Ben's research because I believe what he anticipates he'll find is exactly what he said. Less than 10% of consumers are going to Delta or Blue Cross or Travelers or Aetna or United Concordia's website to find a provider. They're going to Google to find a dentist. And then they'll call. First of all, let's think about the buyer's journey. Naren, you know more about that than anyone I know. So you've taught me that the buyer's journey is typically they go to Google, they look organically rather than paid ads. They prefer organic because their bias is that if it's an ad, it's going to have a bias.
Right.
And so they look organically somewhere at the top of the page, although anywhere on page one would be a good spot to be. They'll click on the website. They'll spend 90 seconds if they found you organically on the website. If they like what they see, they'll probably go one more step before they make the call. They'll probably look at Google reviews and they'll read 2 or 3, maybe at the most. And if they like what they read, they pick up the phone and call.
Right.
How was I as a student of the buyer's journey? Did I hit the high points?
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. You are 100% correct. People today, whether it's learning about a topic or whether it's researching a solution for a need they have, just like discovering a dentist, either a generalist or a specialist. Let's say I have a general dentist, but I want somebody for orthodontics, whatever the case might be, we use Google as our one-stop shop. We go there, we do our research, whoever we find organically, like you said, they get the attention. We look at the reviews, and if the reviews are good, usually we look for two cues: how many reviews you have, and the average stars. And like you said, if we are a little bit more detail oriented, we may even click on one or two of those reviews and read them just to kind of get a vibe. Like, are people saying, "Oh, they treat me like family, and they are just have the best technology," just to kind of get a feel for the office, not through the eyes of the business owner, the dentist, but through the eyes of people like me,
Now,
consumers.
they may also, as they click on the reviews, they may also pay attention to how many reviews the office has
Yes.
and the star rating, the average star rating. I'm talking about from the consumer's perspective.
Yeah.
Because if they discover that an office has 5 reviews, in their mind, they're thinking that's not very many. But if they discover that the office has 427 reviews, what is going on in the patient's mind at that point?
It's an excellent practice.
And let's say it's an average 5 stars. What are they saying?
They think it's amazing. They think, like, see, at the end of the day, we are all in the business of, mitigating risk, getting rid of risk, right? Whether it's, finding an Uber driver for our kid, whether it's finding a dentist for ourselves or our family, we just want the safest bet. I mean, and the key is, how do we get to that safest bet as quickly as possible? So 427 reviews and average 4.9 or 4.8 stars tells me in 1 second it is safe. Because you heard the saying, right? We can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So just knowing that 427 people thought this person is good, he must be good. And immediately in 1 second, we make that decision, and we don't have to sit and think and agonize over it.
A modern term applies. It's crowdsourcing.
Yeah, yeah, we are just crowdsourcing our decision, and because everybody else thought so, we think so. It just sounds so simple.
And so, interestingly enough,
like, I don't want to get into pop culture or whatever, but as we are recording this, I keep hearing news stories about how sports games, everyone is doing that dance, whatever that's called, right? Like, it's just a common thing now. I'm not saying it's going to last for 6 months from now or 2 years from now, but at the moment, the people are doing it.
it's
I'm doing it.
captured the fascination of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's think about this now. Think about you think that, why would anyone as a dentist participate as a provider to get patients? And you're counting on the insurance company to provide you patients when in fact, the insurance company hasn't provided you patients or less than, 10%. Google's providing you with patients.
Exactly.
And you're getting penalized by the adjustments that you're required to take to be a participating provider. So it really doesn't make sense when, in fact, the pathway that a patient finds your office is not the insurance company. Like 90% of the time, if Ben's anticipation is correct, and let's go with that for the sake of this podcast interview.
Right.
If 90% of people find you on Google, then why do we need Delta?
Great question. I think that's the secret, right? Like you don't need Delta, but somehow the doctors haven't gotten the memo yet because they never really realized this data point that 90% of the people don't come through Delta. Instead, they're coming through Google, but they are paying Delta the money, or Delta is the one that's, controlling their fees and doing all the other hanky panky.
It's really it's almost like still having an allegiance to Yellow Pages as a source of new patients.
Yeah.
The truth is, I believe Yellow Pages still exist, Naren, but I couldn't confirm that, by evidence.
Yeah.
Um, I used to remember though when we had it, we always had it in a cupboard somewhere, and my kids would use it to stand on top of to reach something way up high in the cupboard because the Yellow Book pages was so thick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like media today, right? The traditional media doesn't seem to work. People are not paying attention to it, right? But it exists, but it doesn't work. It's the same way Delta exists, but that's not how patients are finding you. It's just that doctors have to catch up to it.
So, doctors, as you're listening to this, I'm going to ask you to make a
Yeah.
mindset shift. Instead of I need Delta to provide me patients, and substitute whatever name you want, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Travelers, Aetna, MetLife. Instead of I need MetLife, I need to master Google reviews to get new patients. And think about that mindset shift. If you don't need to pay the 45 to 50% discount or tax that the PPO plan charges you to provide you patients, because they're not really providing you patients. It's Google that's providing you patients. Does that make sense, Darren?
Absolutely. So put your time and attention on Google. Of course, reviews is something you don't need to pay anybody any money to get. And I think the goal, Gary and I always recommend, is minimum 10 reviews a month. It should be just default. Like, it's like brushing your teeth for the practice, like 10 reviews a month, minimum every single month. Just no ifs, buts, just like, brushing your teeth. Oh, I'll brush it if I feel like it. No, every day you're going to do it, right? And we teach that to
Well,
our children.
we've had clients in our coaching work that when we start working with them, they have a single digit number of reviews, 7, 8, something like that.
Right.
And we teach them a system to consistently get more Google reviews, and we're shooting for at least 10 a month, could be more. And then at the end of a year, instead of 6, 7, 8 reviews, they have 130 or 140 reviews. Totally
Exactly.
different realm. And think about the power of a review. Um, you have no idea who wrote it,
Right.
but the consumer pays attention to it.
Right.
And think about the voice of the patient. When the patient says, I had the most incredible experience at my dental office today, the people were so friendly, so welcoming. I could tell that they love helping patients have great oral health, highly recommend, right? The voice of the patient, the patient that wrote the review can say things about you that you couldn't really say about yourself.
100%.
And that's, because of you'll sound like you're being braggadocious.
Yeah.
But when
I
the
think
patient says it, the filter is gone, and the someone that reads that says, "Oh wow, I got to give them a call. That sounds like a great office."
yeah.
So you
I think
leverage the voice of the patient, leverage the voice of your patient. Now, Nair, share some things that you do with Ekwa that even takes that leverage even further. What are some things you guys do?
absolutely. So, if 90% of the patients are discovering you through Google and not Delta, obviously Google reviews is where you start, but you can go beyond that, right? 5% of the practices get 95% of the free traffic, free recommendations from Google. You talked about the buyer's journey, Gary, and you mentioned that if someone comes through SEO, they will spend 90 seconds. If they click on an ad, they're only going to give you 15 seconds. Why? They don't trust the ad,
And that's
right?
hard
Trust
data.
is such
That's
a,
not
yeah.
that isn't just an opinion on your part. That's hard data.
That is based on studying hundreds of websites and what people do on those websites. So you have to make sure that you are seen trustworthy. Reviews is one way to be seen trustworthy. Second way is to show up organically for whatever they type in on the top 10 results. And how do you get into the top 5%? We have a massive team, 250 people or so, broken into 14 teams, and 9 of them focus on doing all the things Google cares about to help you get into that top 5% that gets 95% of the free traffic and then stay there. And I think a great next step might be booking what we call a marketing strategy meeting. It's ekwa.com/MSM. And by booking this meeting, you will really get a complete report card. We do spend hours and hours studying you and your competition and telling you how you fare in the eyes of Google, all the things that you need to pay attention to. And then we also give you a plan.
One of the simple things you did, Naren, was to create landing pages around certain services. That's one of the things you do as part of Ekwa. And on those landing pages, let's say it's a landing page for Invisalign, then you can have a scroll of reviews at the top of the landing page that talk about a patient's positive experience with Invisalign in your practice. So now when someone is on that landing page, they look up and see the voice of the patient, and it reinforces their decision to give you a call because they found an office that is providing what they're seeking out. They're looking for Invisalign.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree, Gary. And Dr. Cialdini said it best. There are 7 principles that make people do things. And perhaps in the age of the internet, age of mobile devices, the most powerful of those principles is social proof. If other people think you are good, you must be good. That's where reviews come in.
Yeah. And the cool part about this is, as you mentioned earlier, Naren, all of this marketing strength, getting more reviews, can be done at no cost. You just cultivate those yourself. Of course, you have to be review worthy.
Yeah.
If you're not review worthy, then stay in network. That's the simple. If your office is not review worthy, 5-star review worthy, then stay in network and pay Delta 45 to 50% to send you patients. Yeah. But I believe anyone listen to this podcast is review worthy, and there's no reason why you couldn't be an office that has hundreds and hundreds and even over 1,000. Imagine having over 1,000 Google reviews. Is that hyperbole, Naren? That an office could have more than 1,000 reviews?
No. Like I have seen many practices that have more.
We
than
have many of our
reviews.
clients that have.
Many of our clients have more than 1,000 reviews.
Yeah. Now it happens over time. Doesn't happen overnight.
Now, to piggyback on what you said, Gary, I have a dear friend, and his dentist. He moved. He is a CEO of a company. Retired. He moved his home, and he's in a new place. He wanted to find a new dentist. Of course, he did his own research on Google, used SEO, whoever's ranking. Then he looked at reviews, and then he went to their office. And then after his first visit, he says, you know what? They work on getting these reviews. It doesn't just magically appear. Yes, they're a great practice, like you said, review worthy. But just because you're review worthy, it's just not going to happen. I think one of the things that you teach your clients is how do you consistently get at least 10 or more Google reviews a month? And I think that's key, right? This is so critical for your success. If you want to be less and less dependent on insurance, take control of your life, take more of the money you make home versus give it to the fat cats, the insurance company, like mastering the skill, I think is critical.
Yeah. And in any office can do. We've proven that time and time again with our clients. Well, Naren, as we wrap up today, how Google reviews reduce your dependence on insurance, I want everyone to think about this because now you level the playing field. Any of our listeners can master Google reviews and can get on page 1 and now convert people that visit your website to a new patient in your practice. And you can do that without any dependency on any PPO plan. Hope we've given you some things to think about. On that note, I'll bring it back full circle. Remind you, February 1st, 2025, Thriving Dentist live event happening in Austin, Texas. Go to thrivingdentist.com/Austin. We do have some early bird tuition specials. So if you're listening to this close to real time, take advantage of those early bird tuition specials. It will never be less expensive than now. Come join us in Austin. And thank you all for the privilege of your time. Naren and I look forward to connecting with you on the next Less Insurance Dependence podcast.